Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Beard from lastcar.info, and this is our post-race live stream for the wild and crazy and caution-filled events over at the Daytona Infield Road Course. Coming to you just a couple minutes after Christopher Bell. I keep wanting to almost say Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell unofficially becoming the second consecutive first-time winner to start the 2021 Cup Series season, coming right after Michael McDowell's first win in series last week. Congratulations, first of all, to Christopher. Bizarre way to win one, but a win's a win, and he was up there for much of this race. And, tremendous run for him, given the fact that last year he was driving for the Levine family racing team, and it turns out to be the last season for that effort before that team ended up shutting down at the end of the year. He had a couple of good runs last year. I know at New Hampshire was one. I think he was pretty good at Las Vegas before he got in a wreck towards the end, at least in a shot to get a top five there. But, kind of getting through the rookie season there, getting that stuff out of the way. But definitely a big turnaround in this one. Only his second ride in the number 20 car, coming after he and Kyle Busch triggered that massive accident at the beginning of the Daytona 500 last week. Definitely a different set of circumstances here. Of course, on my fantasy level, in our fantasy picks between myself and Last Bro, he picked Denny Hamlin, I picked Chase Elliott. So in terms of that, I got to say that it didn't go exactly to plan. Certainly after Chase Elliott was involved in one of those many incidents towards the end of the race there, and Hamlin was a little bit of a part of that as well. Towards the end of it. But again, first-time winners, something definitely good to see. I can't even remember the last time we had two first-time winners to start the season off, especially when the second race of the season used to be something really difficult like Richmond or Rockingham, where at least back in the day, you really didn't have too many people get their first wins out there. Obviously, you think of Ward Burton getting his first win there in 95 and other drivers from there, but different set of circumstances this time around with these two races at Daytona that were very much crapshoots, but at the same time, great runs for him there and interesting situation there. So, definitely we had the last place finisher. We're already seeing comments here in the caption there, of course. Quinn Houff with his second last place finish in the last three races, again unofficial based on the results of what we see in technical inspection there. The car number 00 apparently had a loss of oil pressure and fuel pressure down the backstretch. May have been involved in some contact along the way there, fell to the back of the pack, and unfortunately, after Derek Cope finished last after 3 laps in the 500, you now have Hoof finishing last in this one after 3 laps in this one too. So really a difficult situation there for the Cope effort. Hopefully things will turn around for him in Homestead last week. I guess the question already should be, are we going to get 3 first-time winners in a row? Homestead next week, ever since it's, in its first year that it wasn't the championship race last season, first year, at least in several years, used to be towards the end of the year, but not the finale for the Cup Series. But after it getting its new spot in the season, last year in the Xfinity race, in one of them, we saw Chase Briscoe make up multiple laps to get back on the lead lap in the Xfinity race, and Tyler Reddick shutting his car down a lap early, which almost cost him a top 5 run last year. So we could see the both of them rebound from what was a very difficult race on the road course for both of them today, to maybe get a good run in that one as well. So that'll definitely be a story to certainly talk about at the same time there. But great run for a number of drivers up through the field. Again, I think the controversy over full course cautions at the road courses has unfortunately been brought to bear in this. This isn't the first time, really. I think it's really been noticeable ever since, especially NASCAR went to the Xfinity Series race at Road America, knowing that that track has such long laps around there. And then I guess this expanded into Montreal as well, that how much of the race distance is getting devoured by cautions. It was really bizarre, especially in the Truck Series race on Friday, of course. And we'll talk more about all 3 of the races this weekend. Just how much of the action was taken up with cautions there. And yeah, I'm with Matt Weaver and many others there that we need to bring back local cautions. That if somebody, one car spins off the track or stalls and is out of the way, no point bringing out even more cautions when you have stage cautions on top of it to just completely mess up everything. And, it would have been, of course, a lot easier for Chase Elliott and others that were dominant at the first part of the race here. But, of course, they end up getting collected in a lot of these accidents when you have these multiple restarts toward the end. And I get that this is entertainment to certainly a degree and everything, but there's always that balance that needs to be worked out. And I think it's brought to bear, especially in the road courses where we just have entirely too many cautions, and it just really takes away from how long you get to see people racing each other and working things out. A race like Clint Boyer had against Kurt Busch at Sears Point back in 2012 is practically impossible today. Where in that race it was 85 laps of them being nose to tail trying to psych each other out. But again, it's a very different kind of racecraft today from what it was even back then, not even a decade ago. But something that I think NASCAR should definitely consider, especially when we got Road America coming up for the Cup Series as well this July. I think especially at these tracks, it needs to be something that's re-examined. I'm not saying go completely to the Formula One direction where they can have a car like blow an engine on the first lap and they'll be like, nah, we don't need to throw a caution for that, and just let everybody hopefully get the car off the track at enough time that the leaders don't reach it in time. There's got to be some kind of balance there in the Cup Series here, especially with the safety innovations involved in the sport as well. Hopefully that'll be something that's going to be worked out along the way as well. Goodness, John Seal from Algeria. Welcome aboard. We got a lot of international followers on here, so appreciate you guys jumping on board. We'll do trivia here tonight as well after we talk more about the top divisions here. Beast of Metal, thank you for the super chat. Congrats to Bell, but the tower needs an overhaul. Have to agree with you on that for sure. Again, the officiating, especially with when to throw cautions. Today's incident, especially with Corey LaJoie, big thanks to Wookie over at the on the MBM team there at the track for reporting that Corey LaJoie was actually stuffed in the tire barriers, and that caused the caution. By all accounts, I know that Fox brought up that LaJoie had an incident there, but they made it seem like it was a consequence of that pileup in turn one when it turned out that that was not the case. That certainly changes the complexion of whether to throw a yellow or not, although he was able to get back to the track again. A little bit of a different scenario from what we had with Ross Chastain, where he pounded the wall off of the turn one on the oval and caused a situation that would have been very difficult for drivers getting around that. Not sure if we necessarily had the same situation with LaJoie, but again, I think that there needs to be a little bit, as per usual with NASCAR, when to throw cautions and when not to throw cautions is going to be the ongoing controversy as we go forward from here for sure. Let's see. We talk more about other people up in the front of the field here. We mentioned earlier on Twitter, AJ Allmendinger getting his best, a fantastic run there in the 7th spot there after what was a very baffling move that he pulled at the end of stage 1 in the Xfinity race yesterday, blocking he and Chase Briscoe coming to blows there and ultimately keeping both of them from winning the race, although Briscoe came very close. Or not Briscoe, Cindric, Cindric in the tangle there with Allmendinger. Still thinking of last season instead of this season. Cindric and Allmendinger getting tangled up there in that particular incident. But Allmendinger in his first start since JTG left JTG Daugherty Racing at the end of 2018, finishing in the 7th position. Michael McDowell was looking to almost be in a position to get his 35th last place finish today. By the way, his first lap was going. He and Kyle Busch having about the worst start you could possibly have at the beginning of it. The grass, again, showing no mercy to these drivers, whether on the road course or the oval. And with all the rain in the area, ends up being disastrous for Kyle Busch. He basically self-destructed and almost pulled off what Allmendinger did. I don't know what he was thinking in the tri-oval at the mid stages of this race with he and Austin Dillon and some other driver. I think it was one of the Fords out there running over each other to the apron. I don't know what he was thinking or if the car was just out of control or something, but very bizarre incident there that ended up leaving Kyle Busch well back in the order, but well up in the order, along with Michael McDowell, who stays in the top 10 in the points after the decent finish this time around. Ryan Preece, very impressed with him getting 6th last week in the 500 and 9th today. Very quiet runs in the on the road course compared to him being one of the best cars in the 500 last week. We'll see if he can keep that going in Homestead and the downforce tracks that we're going to have coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But I think it's a fantastic start. Preece is not one you usually think of as getting some good runs on road courses in particular, but a fantastic start for him. That's only going to help help benefit his team after they lost their charter last year and having themselves in a very different situation from years past. Hopefully this helps them run at least as many races, if not all of them, this season. Certainly, he's running like a driver that's definitely working hard to kind of improve his situation out there. Chris Buescher had a lot of damage there and getting in a lot of incidents, still finishing in the 11th spot. Eric Jones, I was very pleased with, in spite of the left rear tire going down, causing undeniably significant damage to his car, getting a 14th place finish. Big rebound from being one of the many eliminated in the big wreck at the 500 last week. Stenhouse, Priest's teammate, 18th place. Not bad for him. Again, not, you usually don't think of him on road courses, but perhaps some help there. Ty Dillon rebounds from his DNQ in the 500 last week, getting 19th spot. Chase Elliott tumbles back 21st after his late race spin. James Davison, the 23rd spot. All the Rick Ware cars ended up on the verge of top 10s there at the end with some strategy. Of course, ended up falling back further in the order once things were shuffling out with all the chaos that happened there at the end. But of the group there, Davison did a good job there hanging on, and even in front of Justin Haley in the 24th position there. First runs that we've been able to see also for the Trackhouse team, in addition to the Michael Jordan team. Of course, we saw how well Bubba Wallace did last week before the accident on the last lap. But the Trackhouse team able to kind of work some pit strategy to get up front there for a little bit. I'm not sure where they finished. I lost track of them after they were running about 14th. Did they fall? How far back did they fall in that one? Oh, no, 16th. Not bad at all. So, yeah, good run for Trackhouse to kind of get things going there. Certainly a good rebound there. The more races we see, especially, again, these next few, I think, are going to be really helpful in understanding how good these teams are and how much further they have to get in order to close the gap on the big names out there. It's going to be certainly very interesting. Very low attrition there, but again, impressive runs by some drivers that you usually don't see quite up there in spite of all the chaos. Cody Ware, part of that Rick Ware effort there, 25th for him. Scott Heckert in his first Cup start. Kudos to Fox again for managing to get his driver picture up there in the starting lineup today. Heckert finishing in the 28th spot. Timmy Hill also rebounding from his DNQ at the 29th spot. Then you go further back to drivers that were a lap down or more. Tyler Reddick with a scary fire there after the splitter was ripped off of his car. Ross Chastain after the accident. And, of course, Quinn Houff with your last place finish for today. It's probably the third different way I've mispronounced his name so far here today. Oh, goodness. Thank you again for the other super chat here. Visa Metal, of course. Also, until time trials can be run every week again, NASCAR needs to implement a provisional system for metric qualifying for trucks in Xfinity to maybe shorten the lockout period for teams with no owner points. Absolutely. And this is something we'll, of course, talk about in these other series as well. Jordan Anderson, like we talked about in last week's show, having to basically suspend operations of his Xfinity program until they're able to qualify again, was really looking forward to getting things going. And then, of course, rain washes out the first qualifying session for the Xfinity series, and his team, the Ronnie Bassett team, the extra car for DGM, and then the other fourth entry out there also missing the show there. An unfortunate situation for all of them out there, and they're going to have to really kind of regroup to get something going there down the line. I don't know if the provisional system's the best system there. It's going to be a little bit tricky, maybe something that they could work out. But, and again, I was about to say something with practice, but of course they wiped practice at the same time. And also, the collateral damage from that, we really saw at the beginning of this race. You think Michael McDowell's situation with the flat tire or other handling issues that other teams were having, they could have caught that at the beginning of any race or any practice session leading into the race and wouldn't have to lose a whole lot of time. Luckily, in McDowell's case, he was able to rebound from that. But, tough situation on all fronts. But I think I agree. There needs to be some kind of a change there because it's been all kinds of a problem, and really financially, especially for all these teams trying to just keep going out there. Hopefully we got something along the way that's going to change as we go along. Let's see. But yeah, certainly, yeah, these Xfinity truck programs, especially if NASCAR is going to lean into this and talk about how many new teams are coming into the sport, how many programs are trying to start up. Obviously, the Michael Jordan and the Pitbull efforts and the Cup Series are getting the most of that attention, but they're not the only ones, not even in that series. We mentioned Scott Heckert, of course, driving for BJ McLeod and Matt Tiff's Live Fast team, doing a solid job out there, not having a terrible run, not a terribly exciting run, but not a terribly awful run compared to a lot of competitors out there. Come out there with the car with apparently all four fenders on it and be able to focus on their downforce car and keep things going. Going to be very interested to see who's actually going to be in that car, whether it's going to be McLeod or it's going to be somebody else out there. We get the entry list so early in the week these days, we're not going to have to wait too long to find that out, but that'll certainly be interesting to talk about too. Let's see. I saw, Briscoe had the hood up. Yeah, really crazy situation with that too. Michael Jensen, thank you for the super chat as well. Just hopped on, so if mentioned already, sorry, but nice to see McDowell and Priest with another top 10. Hey, I don't mind mentioning it as many times as possible. Very impressive for both of them. Again, as mentioned earlier, McDowell, of course, the 2021 Daytona 500 champion, coming back with a top 10 run after running last at the beginning of it, really shows how far that team and especially that driver have come in the number of years since then. And Priest, again, trying to improve the efforts out there as an open team, really showing speed ever since he had that great qualifying run last week for the 500. Going to be very excited to see how many more weeks they can keep that going. A big rebound for him after having his own last place situation last year where he almost had 4 in a row before it was ended actually by his teammate Ricky Stenhouse. So crazy situations on that one. But we'll see what we can do as well. All righty. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll do some trivia here towards the end of the show here. We're going to talk more about the top 3 divisions from this weekend as well. Josh Bilicki ended up further back in the order I'm seeing here in the Cup Series race. He was 2 laps down at the finish. I don't know what exactly happened there, but something must have happened on one of those late restarts or something to drop him further back than his Rick Ware teammates. William Byron had something dragging underneath his car on the last lap. That cost him a lap to the leaders on the last lap, and dropped him back to the 33rd spot. Chase Briscoe without the hood. He's had a very difficult start to the season. He had the spin in this dual race, which triggered a wreck with a couple other drivers, had to go to a backup. The backup got in a tangle with Quinn Houff after Houff lost a tire running over debris from Byron's car. And then this time around, Briscoe ends up involved in several incidents. The hood flaps up. Very much reminiscent of a kind of Days of Thunder kind of start to the season for a rookie driver. But given how well he ran last year, I'm sure he's going to be able to rebound from that and get some good runs further down the line. And he'll be an interesting story that people are going to have to look at. And I think the turnaround may start next week at Homestead. I'm not sure if that'll be my fantasy pick or not, but I think he's going to be very difficult in that one, given how well he ran, not just at all races last year, but especially at that one, making up those laps after some mechanical issues at the start of, I think it was the Saturday race of that weekend. Gosh, they crammed so many races in such a short time with the pandemic last year that it's hard to keep track of one from the other, but great runs for him there in general, and that'll certainly be an exciting one to follow. We'll jump into the Xfinity and the Truck Series here as well. We got definitely some more stories to definitely talk about from that one. Is it true? Goodness, we had Eric Sipes, some senior comment here. Yeah, first driver from Oklahoma to win a Cup race. That's a tremendous thing too. I'm trying to think of how many other Oklahoma drivers we've had actually run in the Cup Series over the years, but that would certainly be something to talk about. So now, as we talk about the Xfinity race, we of course have to talk about peanut butter crackers, because peanut butter crackers, peanut butter crackers, peanut butter crackers. That's all we heard during the entirety of basically that Xfinity Series race. I'll tell you what, much like the Brad's wife meme over at Cracker Barrel, there are certain segments of the community that can just grab onto one thing from a race, and suddenly it's just absolutely everywhere. And that was certainly the case on Saturday as Ty Gibbs went on. And, he looked like 12 years old coming out of the car there, pulled off his first Xfinity victory in his first Xfinity Series attempt. Tremendous accomplishment, especially beating Austin Cindric, the defending series champion, even with the right front fender missing after the tango with Allmendinger, and still having one of the best cars in the field and setting up for that finish there. Again, a great job by Ty Gibbs. I know that it's a Gibbs team. I know that, that's a Gibbs car, really top ride. We've seen Kyle Busch run well in it. We've seen Denny Hamlin run well with it. But you still got to get it up there, and you got to get to the finish line. And especially on a damp track, the Daytona Infield Road Course, which has so little experience for any of the series to be running on. Tremendous accomplishment by Gibbs to get that great run out there. And you can really tell how much it meant to him too. I'm certainly a big fan of seeing, a lot of emotion from these drivers in one direction or another. And that was certainly no exception. I don't remember what he said in the ARCA interview a while back. I didn't watch that race live, but kudos to him for mentioning that, and I guess making good on that. Also, kudos to Josh Williams, who after wrecking his car in one of those late restarts, still made sure to go out there and meet Gibbs, even while he was still on the grass there after the race there, and congratulating him. Great sportsman Williams is, and he's still, I think, set to have some good runs going forward. I know he's had a little bit of kind of a rough going here and there in these couple of races, rebounded pretty well from it on the road course, but that'll be something else that they can kind of build from going forward, and we'll find out there. Michael Jensen, seeing your super chat also, definitely big thing to have to mention. Also, how about Miguel Paludo after 8 years away getting a top 10? Absolutely. Fantastic run for Paludo getting that finish. A driver that, again, we kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit, but good to see him back in the series here. I understand he's going to be doing a few more races this year. I'm sure probably on these other road courses this season, but wherever he runs, I'll be able to come up from 35th on the line after the metric qualifying put the car pretty far back in the lineup to finish in the 7th spot. Great run by him. Brandon Brown also continuing with his best run on a road course, finishing in the 8th spot. Jeremy Clements in a top 10. And then right on the outside of the top 10 there, Castle, Jesse Little finishing 12th and 14th. Myatt Snyder between them in the 13th spot there. Of course, a much stronger ride there for Childress. But Castle for Johnny Davis bouncing back from his crash in the 500 week. And Jesse Little for BJ McLeod's team doing well. Very impressed again by Mike Harmon's team. Both their cars being able to work their way into the top 10 during the end of stage 1. Even before the tangle between Cindric and Allmendinger, they were in the top 10. So a big improvement for them. And Weatherman getting a 16th place finish there. Unfortunately, Kurt Curry, his teammate, the 74, had some issues that dropped him back further in the lineup. Hopefully that'll be something that they can rebound from, because Homestead next week was a race last year that also both the Harmon teams did very well and really kind of began their ascent really through the ranks, with the two of those drivers doing as well as they did last season and attracting some other much needed sponsorship to that effort that'll hopefully help them continue to improve this year. Have to say about the Saturday race as well. What on earth does Ryan Sieg have to do to pull off one of these wins? I have literally lost count of how many times we've talked about just on the show alone in these last couple of years that Ryan Sieg is restarting at the front of the field and just can't quite get it done, and just having one bit of bad luck or another. In this case, tried some tire strategy, car slides just out of the groove completely, like McDowell did earlier today, and ends up in this case costing him a good run, or a good finish even in that case, dropping him further back in the lineup. What could have been in that case, I still think he's going to be in a good chance of getting his first win this year. I think the Ford manufacturer support is going to be the last missing link to kind of get him over the top, although I think he was making a lot of ground up with the Chevys, and him making the playoffs and getting that late into the playoffs last year was a good indication of that. Maybe Homestead, maybe someplace else further down the line will be the next first-time winner to watch on that stretch as well. That'll certainly be kind of interesting to talk about, certainly going forward. Let's see. But yeah, again, a really bizarre situation with the Cindric and Allmendinger. Again, I think that was really what kind of caught everybody off guard. Certainly caught me off guard. The fact that they were kind of wrecking each other just for a stage win. I know it was a matter of, it seemed like once Allmendinger was coming down, Cindric was just trying to get out of the grass, knowing that that was going to basically eliminate him from the race if he did. And that ended up taking Riley Herbst out of the race too. And he's trying to just avoid this pileup that was gathering here. Ends up causing even more damage to Allmendinger and taking him out of contention. But bizarre situation. We'll see if things turn around on that. I think that's going to be kind of the craziness we're going to see in a lot of these road course races in particular this year. But hopefully they save that for the end of the race and not the beginning. I think that was a little bit premature. I understand Allmendinger took the blame for that, and you certainly can understand why that was the case. But kudos to him for accepting that under the circumstances. I know that was a difficult, certainly difficult thing to do in that particular case. Ryan Vargas, it was unfortunate the Alvin Kamara sponsorship there with the big squeezy. That was a really cool promotion there. Vargas works really hard to kind of promote any brand that he can get on there. Obviously, what you saw with him do last year with the TikTok branding on the car. Unfortunately, this time around, the car shut down. Kudos to the team for getting him back out there. Ends up with just 33 laps complete, but your last place finisher ended up being Natalie Decker in her first start of the year in the Xfinity Series. Actually, I guess her first start ever in the Xfinity Series. Unfortunately, got in an incident with Matt Mills at the start. Something broke underneath the car. Had an issue with it was the rear gear leaking fluid. NASCAR told her to stop. She then pulled behind the wall. I'm sure the team seemed to understand that this was going to be a mechanical issue, even though she did spin out before that, although the fluid was what caused the caution because she was leaking fluid in the tri-oval and not really her spinning that caused the caution to come out. The car visually looked pretty much fine except for some damage in the left rear. Unfortunately, once she went behind the wall, NASCAR said that she was on the DVP, so she was done for the day. And we had that to the ever-growing list of drivers and teams that have been caught out with that. But difficult situation for Decker there. We'll see what other races she does going forward. That, of course, being the second RSS Racing entry that this time around, as you can tell from the car numbers on there, was fielded by the Josh Realm's team. And Realm's team had a very difficult night in Friday in the Truck Series race. We'll definitely talk about that as well, because that ended up being a big story there. Saw a comment on here, of course, about Noah Gragson and the great run he had after missing the start of the race, finishing on the lead lap at the 28th spot. A good effort for him. One spot actually behind Ryan Sieg in the lineup. He was one of many drivers that, would potentially have good runs that end up dropping further back in the lineup. Of course, there were issues for Gray Galding after restarting towards the front of the field. Jay Buford looked good at the beginning, but his car stalled, ended up back in 36th. Timmy Hill, the team replaced the axle on pit road, but got him back out there in 34th. Preston Pardus was in the top 10, ended up having something break underneath the car, dropped him back to the 33rd spot. We mentioned Bailey Curry, Andy Lally having some trouble there at the end of the race after being briefly in the top 5. Difficult situation there for him. We mentioned Josh Williams after backing into the wall. 17th place finish was a good recovery for him. And Chris Wright had all kinds of problems running Sam Hunt's car, but still getting an 18th place finish there. That was a good run for him. But again, congratulations to Ty Gibbs there. Job well done. Definitely a lot that they can build from there. We'll jump into the Truck Series now with the race that had entirely too many cautions and went entirely too long. I guess almost 8 o'clock here on the West Coast, so almost 11 o'clock there local time. Crazy set of circumstances there. Ben Rhodes following up his win in the Daytona race over Jordan Anderson. This time, a pretty convincing victory over Sheldon Creed at the end of this one. Creed without any sponsorship on the number 2, still getting a good run there, the defending series champion. Your last place finisher for that looked like it was going to be Jason White. And, kudos also to Matt Miller for providing all the great pictures from the track this weekend, including the picture tweeted this afternoon of Starcom's hauler pulling out of there. He was getting in touch with me during this week. And so big thanks to him for providing some trackside pictures as the grandstands are opening up again this year. Extend this out to all of you there, that if you're at the track and you get some good pictures of the last place finisher, either the incident that takes him out or the car going behind the wall, or just some good pictures of the car, I'm always open to collecting those, using them in the articles and crediting them. Sometimes we get stuff from multiple different people, so I got to pick certain things out. But if you definitely want to be part of one of these articles there, that's certainly one way to do it. And that was certainly the case with him this week. The last place finisher ended up being Zane Smith, which was decided in the final laps of the race, unlike the other races we had. Zane Smith with an accident being collected off of turn 4 of the oval, and running over the chicane there. Serious damage to the GMS entry. His first last place finish in the Truck Series. This ends up saving Jason White from the last place run because the race went into overtime, triple overtime, with so many ridiculous cautions that could have been handled a lot easier, especially on a shorter road course. But Jason White ends up being saved by that, gains 2 more spots, also past Spencer Boyd after the transmission failed and his truck stopped before the return to the turn 1 track there, exiting the infield portion. Sam Mayer and Lawless Allen, fun name to say, certainly rounding out the bottom 5 in that race there. Corey Roper, unfortunately, not able to back up his great run on the Daytona Oval with a fuel pressure issue. He seemed to have all kinds of problems from the start of that race, dropped him further back in the lineup. Norm Benning, able to claw his way back up from the back of the field. with the 32nd spot. Really like that he kept the logos, the decals on there from Daytona last week when they DNQ'd. Good to see him actually be able to still get a solid run under power, a couple laps down in the number 6 truck, but a good way to start the year 1 week later. But of all the different drivers that made their first start, Lawless Allen, we mentioned, Jet Noland, another one, and Parker Chase, the best of that group there, finishing in the 23rd spot for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Some good runs through there. Dawson Cram, 17th place for his team. I think that's one of his best runs for his team. Not the best run for him personally, but certainly up there. Camden Murphy in the 13th spot for Nemco. Great rebound after that team DNQ'd. Murphy has been very interesting. Really, that Nemco team, whenever they're able to get there and get just enough backing to run, you got to watch out for them because they could be a real dark horse out there. That team has so much experience, especially in the truck series, but really in all 3 divisions. If they could put together a good car or truck out there. We saw this last year, I believe. Where was what was it? It was that other driver, Tony Mrakovich, I believe, had a good run at Pocono with that team as well. So we've seen a lot of underdog drivers out there, Murphy being another one, the Monster Jam competitor, getting some good runs. And, of course, Nemechek and his son being able to get some good runs there, too. Good performance there. Looking at Kaz Gralla getting a good 8th place finish as Chris Wright's replacement in the 0-2. We'll see who's going to be ended up driving that truck the next round when they come back at Las Vegas. Just the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series next week at Homestead is going to be the big story going forward there. And yes, seeing the comments on here as well. Certainly the longest race in Truck Series history, even longer than the 2004 Gateway race that had multiple green, white, checkered finishes. Had a different situation in that one. So kind of an interesting scenario there. Let's see. Just checking through here. Yeah, we had truck drivers named Lawless, Jet, and Parker. We have some amazing names in trucks. Exactly. I'll tell you what. We're getting pretty close to the next level for in my Patreon here. The next tier goal we had was to do another starting grid later this year. And again, I'll mention this for anybody that's in the Patreon, if you forgive the plug here. That's for Cup, Xfinity, or trucks. So far, people have just voted for Cup races, which is fine. But know that option is on the table. And if we get enough votes for it, once we reach that, that'll be the next one that we'll be looking at there. And yeah, if you want to hear me do an announcement for somebody like Lawless Allen or something like that, that would certainly be something that we'll put together. We'll see what things look like in terms of graphic wise, in terms of when the lineup is set and how much time we have to do the grid. But that is something that we're working towards on that. The next episode of Rise of the Field Fillers is still in the works. Don't have an estimated release date yet. I think it's definitely going to be coming out in March. It's definitely not going to come out at the end of this month here. Our Speed Weeks coverage kind of pushed things back a little bit, but we'll get that going here. That's going to be, again, on Stan Hover Motorsports as we continue that series. And, of course, we're going to get the entry list articles coming up this week to cover the action coming up in the Xfinity and the Cup Series side at Homestead. Anticipate a lot of driver and team changes from there, and we'll find out what happens on that end as well. Let's see. Let's see. We talked about peanut butter crackers. We talked about a lot of the big names here. Let's see. If you have any other questions on any of the other drivers or teams here, certainly feel free to go ahead and mention those in the comments, and we'll cover these along the way. Really surprised we got 50 people in here. Thank you so much for joining here tonight. I know we have a number of other people doing live streams today, so I appreciate you guys jumping into this one. We'll go ahead and jump into trivia here. We went kind of quick through the segment on the covering all 3 of the races here, but we'll certainly do this here. We don't have any prizes or anything on this here. We're going to that's going to be more infrequent here, but big thanks to those of you who joined in last week when we did the Daytona ones there with the JD McDuffie stickers. I talked with the Comics by Bruno there. He's working on getting the JD stickers added to the store. I don't have an ETA on that. So if you didn't get a sticker during those, you'll certainly be able to get one through that here in the near future. We'll work something out on that so you can anybody that wants one can certainly get one. I think it's really cool with the store that he has. He uses Redbubble, which is the same site that I sell my shirts on. And you can get stickers in like different sizes too, whereas I just ordered them in one size there. So if you want to do some, if you want a JD sticker on that, there's definitely going to be options for that moving forward here. So stay tuned for some more information, and I'll definitely make sure to retweet that once we get some more information on that too. Alrighty. So we'll do some trivia here. The categories again are NASCAR, pits, teams, tracks, drivers, and the wild card. So go ahead and pick which category you want. We'll go ahead and start off with that. NASCAR, pits, teams, tracks, drivers, and the wild card. So those will be the other ones here. Carson Hocevar with the top 15. Yes, thank you for mentioning that as well. Hocevar recovering from that bizarre pit road incident there too. Good run for him. The Nice Motorsports team, they've really, again, ever since Ross Chastain worked with them and brought them right to the brink of a championship, that team has really grown by leaps and bounds, and we'll see what we can do there too. David Starr may run a cup race for MBM, so Wrinklestein. That's news to me. That'll be interesting to see, but not sure on that end. Definitely need to rehydrate here. All right. All right, we got ones for picks, teams, wild card. We're kind of all over the place here this week. We'll see which category works there. A little bit of behind the scenes stuff too. I was kind of working on a different microphone arrangement for these live streams. I ordered a new one off Amazon, and I tested it out the other day offline, and it wasn't really working out. So we're still using the clip-on mic. We'll stick with this for now. They might have a different option further down the line, but that's kind of what we're working with now. This seems to be working okay. If you guys have any audio issues or anything like that, definitely don't hesitate to let me know. We'll try to work this out. But I think being able to wear the clip-on the shirts like this definitely helps. We'll see how that looks in the summer when we're basically going to go back to clipping it on the t-shirt here as well. But that'll be another one for another day too. All right. Pits, drivers, picks, tracks, the wild card. I'm seeing a couple for the wild card. Maybe we'll do wild card to kind of kick this one off. So let's see. All right. Here we go. Okay. So we'll lead off here for the segment here today. First question for tonight. What racing animals does Todd Bodine raise on his North Carolina farm? What racing animals does Todd Bodine raise on his North Carolina farm? First question of the afternoon. Wildcard's the only one with more than 2 votes. Yeah, I think that would be a good one to lead off with. Maybe we'll get some weird ones here today. What racing animals does Todd Bodine raise on his North Carolina farm? All right, we got bunnies. Option of Dave Blaney as a field filler. Wait and see. Wait and see. The series isn't ending anytime soon, so there's going to be a lot of grounds to definitely cover here. Alrighty. What racing animals does Todd Bodine raise on his North Carolina farm? Alrighty. And we got several guesses in here. We got pig racing, we got horses, we got bunnies. The answer is quarter horses. Wow. That is being really specific. You would think horses would suffice, but specifically quarter horses. Anybody out there of the equine variety? No, I don't exactly know what a quarter horse is. I assume it's a smaller horse. So like a pony or like I don't know, quarter horse. Or does it go like a quarter miles, like a quarter midget? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know horses. Yeah, exactly. It's a quarter horse like a quarter midget. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, quarter horses. Yeah, you can see it there a little bit. Yeah. That's a weird one. Yeah, I don't think anybody got that one. I think that's I should have got that question last week for the sticker round, but we'll still get some good questions here. It's a spicy horse. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll get horse chat will be for another day. All right, here we go. What pro football team does Jeff Bodine cheer for? Okay, Bodine's today. What pro football team does Jeff Bodine root for? Football chat. Boy, this thing's really wild card, getting real wild, this one. Which quarter? Yeah, good question. What pro football team does Jeff Bodine cheer for? Don't look it up. Go ahead and just try to guess. Bred for quarter mile or less races. Okay, so it is kind of like, okay, interesting. Quarter horse. Well, I guess it did say racing horse, so I guess that would make sense. The Bears, not the Chargers, the Bills, the Jets. Yeah, he is for New York. I mean, it could be Jets, though. You never know. What pro football team does Jeff Bodine cheer for? These are the kind of questions I don't really know too much about. A lot of these drivers' personal lives and stuff, it kind of stays unknown, or at least I don't follow it as closely as some people do. I know there's a lot of the social media encourages that, but yeah. Chase Elliott in the chat. I need to get a restraining order against all of Gibbs apart from Bell. Well, there you go. What pro football team does Jeff Bodine cheer for? Something weird like the Saints or the Rams. Yeah, maybe. All right, here we go. The answer is the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I would not have guessed that. I really wouldn't have. I wonder if he still does. I know Jeff Bodine's on Twitter now. I guess we can find out. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. I would have never thought of that. Yeah, wow. I don't think anybody guessed that. Did anybody? We got Redskins, we got Lions, we got Panthers, we got Titans. Yeah, hard to say. There we go. I'm going to get up here for just a moment, folks. Let me just move this out of the way. There we go. And then we'll keep going here in just a moment. Just stay tight. And boop. Okay, and we are back. Just had to make sure the air conditioning was on again here. I know that was an issue last week, but we'll keep that going here as well. Okay. Thought he cheered for the Jamaican bobsled team. Yeah, there you go. Good pick, too. All right. So, yeah, wouldn't have guessed that. Okay, well, we're on a good streak here of questions. Here we go. Here's another good one. What kind of race cars did Derek Cope's dad drive? There we go. I know the answer to this one. What kind of race cars did Derek Cope's dad drive? What is Worthless Pieces of F Incorporated? Well, hey, come on. That's always one. That's always a decal that stays on the side of the car there at the end of that those videos. Alrighty. Oh yes, no, I'm wearing pants. I can assure you that. Yeah, we don't need. You guys don't need that. What kind of race cars did Derek Cope's dad drive? I'll tell you what. I mean, the transition from the live streams to the Zoom era here during everything that's happening out there has been a weird one. What kind of race cars did Derek Cope's dad drive? Alrighty, we got Bandoleros, box cars, soapbox, quarter midgets, Baja off-road, street, Indy. Several guesses here. Alrighty, and the answer is drag racers. Drag racers is the correct answer. He clearly drove the ones that had a gas pedal and went yum. There you go. I would count that too. I know somebody had dragsters. Yep, there. Dusty DeBoer. I see you got it. How many mentions Bandoleros in the drag cars? Yeah, there you go. So forth. And all that. Okay. All righty. Well, there's that one. Also, on the same note here, I know it was mentioned during the broadcast earlier today. If you're out in the Texas or the Southwest and all that, hope you're staying safe out there. I know that a lot of the pictures, Eddie Gossage's tweets from Texas of Motor Speedway, certainly showing just how crazy it's been down there this past week. Certainly, if you're out in that area there, I hope this message reaches you okay. And checking out a little bit of trivia here. Just stay safe and stay warm out there. I understand the weather's starting to change a little bit, but obviously a crazy set of circumstances out there for certainly for sure. All right. Let's see. All right. What model? Next question here. What model of Plymouth? Oh, microphone went sideways. What model of Plymouth did Richard Petty run in 1962 to 1963? Okay, don't look it up. Go ahead and try to guess. What model of Plymouth did Richard Petty run in 1962 to 1963? Yeah, I think McDowell is like fifth or sixth in points or something. And obviously, with the win, he's going to be seated ahead of anybody that hasn't won yet. So he and Christopher Bell are your point leaders, basically. Pretty crazy thing, too. We got to update the little diecast points lineup here at the headquarters here. So that'll be another thing this week. Alrighty, don't look it up. We got guesses for Superbird, Belvedere, Neon. Okay, that's good. Oldsmobile, Duster, Belvedere, Fury, Plymouth Belvedere. All right, here we go. What model of Plymouth did Richard Petty run in 1962 and 1963? And the answer is the Savoy. The Plymouth Savoy. The Plymouth Savoy. Yeah. Did anybody get that? I think everybody put Belvedere, Fury, Superbird, Neon, cars that had fuel. Oldsmobile, Duster, 1959. Yeah, Savoy. Yeah. I wasn't going to guess that either. I think you guys with the Belvedere ones, you were convincing me. I'll tell you that. Well, these are the tricky ones. These are the hard questions. These are the hard questions, folks. So that's definitely the ones. All righty. Oh man, I'll tell you what. If you get this question, you without googling it, I think you're going to be you're an elite group here. I'll tell you what. All right, so brace yourselves. We got a real interesting one here. Next question is, who qualified, started 32nd, and finished 19th out of a field of 38 in a Volkswagen? I'll read that one again. Who qualified, started 32nd, and finished 19th out of a field of 38 in a Volkswagen? Yeah, I'm not making that up. That's actually on here. Like, that's unbelievably. All I know is the Volkswagens haven't finished last because I didn't have to come up with like a little initial on my spreadsheet there on that. But yeah, there it is. Yeah, who qualified? There you go. Started 32nd and finished, boop, 19th out of 38 in a field of 38 in a Volkswagen. Yeah. Herbie, Dick Cheney, Terry Labonte, Buddy Baker, an Elephant, Curtis Turner. Yeah, I mean, guess. I mean, any guess is a good one. I think, there we go. Don't need as much vertical space here. There you go. See a little bit more of the Yaley shirt here. Again, great job by the Rick Ware team getting that Kenny Irwin throwback. It's definitely a good one to see. I still need to see ESPN's thing on Dale Earnhardt. I haven't watched that yet. I understood from our show last week that everybody was saying that was really good. We got Dale Fishline, Buck Baker, Lindsay Lohan, Bill Rexford, Dick Hagee. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see. Some random driver no one remember. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Could be somebody that finished last just in a different manufacturer. Langhorne 53, I remember. Fonny Flock. The first foreign car to win a race was a Jaguar. Yep, there you go. Who qualified? I'll read it again once more for anybody that's just joined in. Who qualified, started 32nd, and finished 19th out of a field of 38 in a Volkswagen. All right. Matty Payton, Lindsay Lohan's character from Herbie Full. Exactly. So everybody's getting Lindsay Lohan. And the answer is Dick Hagee. I think somebody got it. Dick Hagee. Dick Hagee. I think that's the one. James Johnson. I see you got it. They might get it earlier. Jeff, what kind of Volkswagen? I assume it was a bug. I know there's a picture of a Volkswagen bug out there. So they did some of that. Dick Hagee. Yeah, Dick Hagee. Hagey. Let's pull up the old racing reference. How about we do that? get the stats on our friend Mr. Hagee, Dick Hagee, and it's not coming up. It's not coming up. Interesting. Okay, we might have to go. We got to dig deeper. Got to go to the driver. Is it driver averages? Driver. Oh gosh, what's that? What's that? What's that database? Driver averages, ultimate racing history. Let's try that one. All right, here we go. We're going deeper. We're going long. Okay, here we go. Dick Hagee, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All righty. There it is. There it is. Why does it not show up? Did it? Maybe they misspelled it on Racing Reference. Okay, International 200. So they ran the international manufacturers. They did this at Bowman Gray Stadium too to run some weird cars. June 21st, 1953, on the 1 mile perpetual left-hand turn. It's a good call. Those of you that mentioned the run there at the Langhorne track here. Okay, I'm showing 38. There were 39 cars on the list here. Frank Arford did not qualify, but is classified on the results. Leo Bergeron classified last in a Hudson, finished 38th after starting 35th. Ken Marriott, the first last place finisher of the Daytona 500, finished next to last in 37th, driving a Jaguar. So, man, so again, these are the histories that you just love to hear more about. Dick Rathman won in 1953 Hudson. The highest finishing foreign manufacturer was Dick Allwine in 6th place, driving a 1953 Jaguar. Here, I should be sharing the link here. Let me copy and paste this, and we'll see here. Was this not a? Okay, I guess it was a. Oh, they misspelled it on. Okay, misspelled it on Racing Reference. Okay, yeah, it says Hagee with EY on both the trivia thing and on Ultimate Racing History. Let me get that one there. I want to check to make sure I got my stats accurate here. Born July 8th, 19... Yeah, you're right. Thank you. July 8th, 1930 in Philadelphia. Died in 2012. And his only Cup start. Wow. Now that'll assure you definitely a special place in all of that. So he's not going to show up on the last car stats. Interesting. Those international 200s, that would be probably a subject for a perhaps some kind of further investigation. Excuse me, as well. Yep, there were some races. There's one race where Tucker competed. And that actually, Joe Marola ran one and finished last because something broke in that one. And so it was forever commemorated as one of the few last place finishers. I think it was 1950. He was in there. So that was definitely one too. So, okay, so there we go. Paid $40 for 19th. Yeah. Somebody made a model of the car that Marola drove. I have a picture of it somewhere. Where was it? I think this is it. This is at least the decal page. Oh, no, it's just decals. Yeah, somebody did a decent one there. Okay, here we go. That's on Pinterest. Okay, that's a picture of the actual one. Here we go. I'll copy this here in the chat so you guys can see that too. Here's the Tucker. Yeah, that's one mad question. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I didn't know it either. I will be perfectly honest. I did not know that one. And okay. Yeah, the Tucker still got the license plate on it. I love that. That's just crazy. Oh, there's another picture. Here we go. Oh, dude, I don't have this picture yet. Hold up. We got something good here. We got ourselves a Joel Marola last car picture. Check this one out. Oh, man. Here we go. Let me cut the paste and I'm put this in the chat. Here we go. Kudos to whoever posted this. Here's a picture of Joe Marola's car on a hook. The only Tucker uploaded by AC on Pinterest. Big thing. Or Paul Dean saved the Tucker. Okay, I guess Paul Dean just saved it. But AC, big thank you to whoever AC is here for posting this picture. That's the first I've seen of that one. Of Joe Marola's car with apparently something wrong with the right rear wheel that is not on there. Car with white walls. Beautiful piece. My goodness. But on the hook, after finishing last in the only race it ever ran. Great picture. Great picture. I got to save that one in the archives for sure. Very cool. So kudos to whoever shared that. Yeah, I've never seen that one. Awesome. Yeah, these are, again, and see, this really captures why, the last place, uh, the last place statistics are interesting, because again, you go far enough back in history, and it's going to be a lot of weird drivers, weird teams, weird backstories, things that just never get talked about. And you talk about in baseball, like how there's statistics, batting averages for some third baseman from 1912 that are still out there, and yet there's so little record of a lot of drivers that finished last in those further back cup races. Heck, for a lot of time, they didn't keep track of who finished last. If you didn't finish in the money, they just wrote your name in whatever order it could be, which is why you have such a random spread of last place finishers, at least the way they were classified back then, on top of the fact that you just didn't have a steady group of drivers there. So it's an interesting time period to talk about, too. E-Step is offline? I don't know E-Step was doing a live stream tonight. I saw Iceberg was. If we're having any internet connection issues, definitely let me know. Well, I guess I wouldn't know unless it wasn't working, but I think we're going here. Suarez was feeling sick at the end of the race. That's the first time hearing of that. Goodness. I hope he's certainly doing well. So he seemed like he was having some good runs there. I guess this track really takes a lot out of people. Remember last year, I think it was actually Yaley himself had to get pulled out of the car, and they put somebody else in. So that was a different thing there. Alrighty. Well, we've done enough of that. We'll do a couple more questions here in the meantime. But the Dick Hagee question is definitely one to talk about. The rear axles kept braking due to the engine's torque. Well, see, there you go. Oh, very interesting there, Tom. Okay, cool. So again, the more you hear about these stories, the better. I think somebody actually wrote it. There was a couple articles on that one from Barola's Tucker, but definitely an interesting one to talk about. All righty, here we go. Next question. What NASCAR Winston Cup driver graduated from the Gonzaga School of Law? Here we go. What NASCAR Winston Cup driver graduated from the Gonzaga School of Law? All righty. All righty. What NASCAR Winston Cup driver graduated from the Gonzaga School of Law? No, not quite me, Nathaniel. That's definitely not me. That's about the closest connection there. Graduated from JFK University, class of 2011. So, hey, for goodness, a decade ago now. So there you go. What NASCAR Winston Cup driver graduated from the Gonzaga School of Law? This next question. Jacob Chitrun, Dylan Smith, Derek Cope, Bobby Labonte, Curtis Turner, Chad Little, Buddy Baker. Oh, no, I guess it's the previous question, maybe. Loy Allen. Oh, no, I guess it's this question. There we go. But it's Chad Little and not Cope. He's from Washington State. You got Allen on here. Would be Lawless Allen. Maybe you got that. It'd be Lawful Allen. What NASCAR Winston Cup driver graduated from the Gonzaga School of Law? The answer is Chad Little. A lot of you got that. Chad Little. Indeed the correct answer. Joshua Weatherman. There you go. Jaron Steele. Sorry. B. Blaze. You got it before him. I think you were the first B. Blaze. So there you go. Yeah, I'm really floored by that Marola picture. I do have an archive I keep together of like famous last place finishers. Obviously, download them online, so I don't know sure exactly what to do with them, but it's definitely fun to look at because you see some commonalities. Being on the tow truck hitch is being on the tow truck hitch, whether it's 2021 or 1950. There's a certain timelessness to that. Lawless Allen's family owns Auto Park It? Oh, that explains that then with the sponsorship. I know he just ran the K&N race at Sears Point a couple of years ago, so there's a little different scenario there. All righty. Next question. What NASCAR Winston Cup broadcaster is also a medical doctor? What NASCAR Winston Cup broadcaster is also a medical doctor? Again, keep in mind this is the late 90s here, so some of the current group here will be a little different. What NASCAR Winston Cup broadcaster is also a medical doctor? Whoop, microphone flapped over again. There we go. That is an excellent picture. Thank goodness somebody was there to do it. There's a forerunner of the last car page managed to be exactly the right spot when that car was getting towed back. It's amazing how much history would have been just lost forever, or just left as a subject of rumors if it weren't for photographers out there. Alrighty. What NASCAR Winston Cup broadcaster is also a medical doctor? And you guys all got it. It is indeed Dr. Jerry Punch. All right. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. This is a question for you Bill Elliott fans out there. What tender age was Bill Elliott when he started racing? What tender age was Bill Elliott when he started racing? That's the question. So we're looking for a number. We got 23 from Dusty DeBoer. Any other guesses here? What tender age was Bill Elliott when he started racing? Don't look it up. Just go ahead and guess. Yes, Matthew, definitely would behoove me to definitely mention it. Yes, certainly wishing the very best to Bob Jenkins, the ESPN booth. Absolutely huge part of my and many other people's childhoods growing up. Watching him introduce the broadcast ESPN, one of the most consummate professionals out there. The unfortunate news revealed earlier this week that he is dealing with brain cancer. I'm sure he's fighting it very hard. I hope, certainly the very best for him there. To both to him and his family as they're dealing with this time. Yeah, certainly wishing him the very best here. Yeah, can't overstate what he has meant to NASCAR in particular, but also really all of motorsports. Well beyond that, at Indianapolis, of course, his home track. All the coverage he's done over at Indy, and how big of a part he's been just to that track's history by itself. To build on that from 20 memorable years ESPN for the Cup Series and become a part of your Sunday afternoons on that. Definitely sending well wishes out there to Mr. Jenkins. All right. So we got the guesses on here for Bill Elliott, what age he was when he started racing. We got guesses for 27, 20, 15, 22, all over the place. 9, we think was the youngest one we have here. Alrighty. And the answer is 16. 16 is the correct answer. 16. Did anybody get that? We get the closest without going over. We got 13. We got 17. We got 19. 15, 13. I don't think anybody got it right on it, but Tom Anderson, you're like right under it. But yeah, 16 is the correct answer. I hope the microphone's not more muffled when this lapel flips over. It's hard to tell a little bit. Alrighty. Yeah, that is young back then. Next question here. Who won 21 races when he drove for Carl Kiekhaefer? There we go. Another throwback question, big time. Who won 21 races when he drove for Carl Kiekhaefer? I guess all these are throwback questions, but you get it. Sound is good? Okay, right on. Who won 21 races when he drove for Carl Kiekhaefer? Yeah, it's a tricky one. Don't look it up. Go ahead and try to guess. All right. 21 races for Carl Kiekhaefer. There we go. Just a short update here on the website, of course. The articles for the Xfinity and the Truck Series are already posted on lastcar.info. Cup Series article is just about done. I was working on that since it's one advantage when last place is sewn up relatively quickly. Able to kind of get a head start on that one. So we'll get that up a little bit later here this evening once we get official word about post-race inspection. I don't think I've seen anything yet, but I haven't checked Pockrace's page here in a little bit. He posted 4 tweets in the last hour, it says here, so maybe we do have an update. Got points. Denny Hamlin says it was pretty wet when they threw the caution for rain. Yeah, nothing new on that one yet. Okay. All right, guesses here. Tim Flock, David Pearson, Buck Baker, Curtis Turner, Herb Thomas, Chris Boucher. And the answer is Tim Flock. Tim Flock, indeed. The great Tim Flock. All righty. We'll just do a couple more here and we'll wrap up here now that we're past the 1 hour mark here. How many full seasons did Curtis Turner miss due to his lifetime suspension? Lifetime suspension in quotes, because it did end up shortening before that. How many full seasons did Curtis Turner miss due to his lifetime suspension? Just go ahead and type a number here. You don't need to, don't look it up. Go ahead and just try to guess it there. How many full seasons did Curtis Turner miss due to his lifetime suspension? Okay, we got guesses for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 6. Yeah, exactly. We counted. There you go. We got everyone between 1 and 6 here. So I guess we'll be. You got it. You got it. And the answer is 3. 3 is indeed the correct answer. 3 is the answer. Dana Mon, you got it. Let's see. No, not that one. Definitely had that question already. Okay, so we got one more question here. We'll wrap up with one more here. We might have had this one earlier, but maybe not everybody has heard it so far. What driver raced with Woody Woodpecker and friends on his Chevy in 1997? What driver raced with Woody Woodpecker and friends on his Chevy in 1997? What driver raced with Woody Woodpecker and friends on his Chevy in 1997? 97. Okay, there you go. Okay, we got the guesses coming in. We got Lake Speed. We got Wally Dallenbach. We got Chad Little. We got Robert Presley and Jeff Green. Okay, we got a good cross-section of drivers so far. I'll let everybody get their guesses in here for the last question of the evening. What driver raced with Woody Woodpecker and friends on his Chevy in 1997? Yes, Woody Woodpecker, it says here. And 1997, we got Billy Standridge. Love the blue on that scheme. There you go. I think some of you guys got that for sure. And okay, looks like the answers are slowing down a little bit here, so we'll go ahead and show the answer. What driver drove with Woody Woodpecker on his car and friends on his car in 1997? The answer is indeed Wally Dallenbach Jr. Wally Dallenbach, it says on there. So again, thank you again so much, everyone, for participating in our chat tonight here. Congratulations again to Christopher Bell on the victory today, Ty Gibbs on the victory yesterday, and Ben Rhodes, I almost forgot, on Friday there. Great runs for all three of them there. A bit of wildness, a bit of controversy, a little bit of just about everything that we see just about every week in most of these Cup Series races. Our next show is going to be a week from today after the Homestead race, the Xfinity and Cup Series, as we get back to oval racing and the first downforce track of the year. Who is going to finish first? And most importantly, who is going to finish last? We will all find out there. So definitely have a good week, everyone. And thank you again for tuning in. And we will see you next week for more Last Car Racing. So have a good one, folks.